Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is it's kind of a twofold video. I was contacted by a new subscriber who just recently acquired a Harbor Freight mini lathe, and I wanted to point out a couple of things to him. So it's kind of a beginner's kind of thing, and nothing too in-depth, and have some announcements on the new lathe. So let me get started on the Harbor Freight mini lathe first. And the first thing I would advise is to get a quick change tool post. So your friend is going to be Little Machine Shop for stuff like this. You can also go to Little Machine Shop's site and type in replacement parts and buy anything on this lathe. So let me Jeff had a few concerns about parting, and I wanted to get something, basic to him. Let's have a better looking piece of metal than that. Just something basic and something that it's being pointed out to me a lot, and I'm very guilty, and that is how far away from the chuck I'm working. You want to work as close to the chuck as possible. Now when you're parting, it's important that your blade height, cutting height is right. Now a quick way to do this is to get a scale, longer the better, and you want to set that between your work and your cutter, and just want just enough pressure to hold the scale. If you got a carbide insert, you could crack it and chip it. You could easily put way too much force on that cutter. So basically you want to put that blade there, and you want to see it. It should be plumb. It should be standing up straight. And that's telling you that your cutting tip is in the center line of your spindle. Now, if it had to be high or low, you're best off being a touch low. Lots of lubrication, and experiment with your speeds, because some materials I go really slow and some I go really fast, well, faster. When you're parting, you want to lock your carriage. 3 ways to do that. Build a carriage lock, use your half nut lever, or what Harbor Freight has built into this machine is they have a set screw right here. And the idea is you're supposed to turn that and gouge into your bedways with it to keep your carriage from moving. I do not suggest anybody do that. Until you get some kind of carriage lock, using your half nut lever over here is acceptable. It's going to move around a little bit, but once your forces push it back one way or the other, it should stay there. It's not the best way to do it, but it is a way to do it. Okay, now your cutters. I once bought this case of high-speed steel, pre-sharpened high-speed steel blanks, and they need to be sharpened at arrival. So your high-speed steel kind of looks like this. It can look like that. It can look, if you got a bench grinder, you can cut your own. There's plenty of great videos showing how to do that. I believe Blondie Hacks is probably the most comprehensive channel for a beginner. There's a British gentleman who always throws his hat at the lathe when he comes in, and I might think of his name. And he does a very good job of instructing on how to grind your high-speed steel. And then there's the Carbide Inserts. And there's left-handed, right-handed, and neutral. So this would be like a neutral. So if you turn this tool around facing you, and if it's pointing to the right, it's a left-handed tool. And you want to use that for cutting from right to left. Neutral can be used for chamfering or for just taking material away. And here's some other high-speed or other carbide bits. Size difference doesn't really matter. I've sent you a little of both, I think. I think that's all we're going to do today. And that spring is on your chuck key for a reason. And it is so that thing will not stay in there when your lid shuts. Your safety shield will not close. Your motor will not turn on if the chuck key is in there. So basically, that's it. And I just want to reemphasize that I'm not the one that's going to teach you a whole lot. At least not the correct way of doing things. There's lots of Frank Hoos is very good on these small machines. Blondie Hacks. Oh, can't think of that British gentleman's name. You'll find it. And of course there's upgrades also, and that'll just come in time. You'll do what you need to do. One thing that Blondie Hacks taught me is this whole system is like a spring. So if it's loose down here, it's going to make everything above it loose. So everything has to be pretty tight. Now, in some cases, if one item's a little loose in the cut, if it's a fault of your machine, it doesn't mean you can't do good work. Like with using the half nut for a stop, once that, if this thing moved a couple thousandths of an inch, once you get it engaged, it's going to tighten itself up and stay as long as you're going in that one direction. This is a little upgrade I got from Little Machine Shop, and I think it's worthwhile. And it's a digital counter basically that tells you, how much you're moving your tool in the crossways. There's also one for the compound, and you see I don't have a compound. The compound is probably the greatest culprit in loss of rigidity. It has its place, definitely, and it's definitely fun to use the compound. You see some people have their tool mounted at this angle, like this. And I keep mine, at 90 degrees, so as long as the tool is square with the work is all that matters. Okay, that's going to be it for for Jeffrey. And Jeffrey, I hope you really embrace this and have a ball with this thing. He said the last time you ran a lathe was in high school, and it's longer than you'd like to remember, maybe. But lathe news. I got up this morning and I finally got a delivery date. Now I got to arrange for something to get my lathe off of the trailer. Now the trailer is a low mount trailer. It is a tilt trailer. And my third idea was put my freight on the back of the trailer, come to my house, tilt your trailer, I'll hook it up to the stud in my floor and winch it down the ramp onto my garage floor. Lathes are notorious for tipping over. This lathe has 4 steel 1-inch wide steel straps holding it to the skid. And I feel like that method would probably work, but I am not going to do that. I went online, looked at forklift rentals, and between renting the forklift, having it delivered, having it picked up, we're talking $500 or more. That's when I started coming up with idea number 3. My second idea was to have it delivered to my friend's machine shop and forklift it off onto his property, and then all I would have to do is rent a lift bed trailer and bring it the last 5 miles to my house. So then I did a Google search of forklift rental near me, and I ended up with a very fair price, $127 for the forklift, $15 for the trailer to transport it with, and if I can get it back in 3 hours, the price goes down to $94. So basically 130, basically for under $150, I'll have a forklift here to do the deed. And even though it is on the skid and banded down very well, I am still going to strap to the ways, the lathe bed, and pick it up in a hanging position, because it's impossible to tip over in that state. You're probably getting pretty tired of looking at that stuff. So anybody who's watching, a lot of machinist YouTube channels has probably heard of Fred Newman. And he's moved machinery for Adam Booth. Adam has a friend down in Florida. He's great. He's a veterinarian, a beautiful farm. What is his name? Lance Beasy. He's moved machinery for Lance. He's moved machinery for a lot of YouTube guides. Keith Rutger. So, long story short, Brian Block of This Old Farm Shop made me aware that he was having some machinery delivered to his place from the same origin. So I kind of live between Cleveland, where the machinery's at, and where Brian lives. So I'm kind of in the middle. So we're just going to throw my machine on that same trailer, and I'm just going to make a stop near Dayton on the way down to Kentucky. So that's all arranged. They have all the paperwork they need to pick up my machine, and they know where to bring it, and I'm psyched. And I really want to put this thing, this is where I'd love to put the lathe. Okay, there's my door into the shop. Here's my small lathe, my kind of workbench, toolboxes, and right there's a small room. I got propane heat, I have electric heat, and it would be awful comfortable to be able to operate inside here. Now, somebody mentioned something about having that lathe under a window, and it wasn't the window breaking or anything like that. There was something else, and I don't remember what it was because I didn't want to hear it. So here's where the lathe is more likely gonna go. This curtain here goes into my garage, into the car park. See, I'm already getting ready to move the cutter grinder back here, facing out to the center of the garage. But here's my garage door, and basically just bring it straight in the garage and push it up against this wall. And that's definitely where it's going to be. It'll probably be out here in the middle of the floor to start with, just so I can get access to all around it to get it clean. So it's pretty straightforward. Straight in the garage. The low mast forklift will drive right into the garage, but I doubt if I'll need to actually bring it into the garage. I got all this space back here that's can be rearranged and work back in that section. I hesitate to even show you this area, but yeah, it can stand to be rearranged. Okay, let me get the lights back on here. And auxiliary filming light. That's all I got tonight. Thursday, late morning, early afternoon, is Fred's grandson's going to be delivering the lathe, and that's when it's going to happen. So I'll no doubt have a video out Thursday night, showing all that action. Likely going to be a time lapse that I probably going to be too busy to film. So I have a time lapse camera I'll set up somewhere and share it with you that way. Ordered some dog-eared, dog point set screws for the tool holders from McMaster Car. I ordered they call it a fully machined back plate. It's a D5-1-5, and basically you mount it to the lathe, then you machine the other end of it to fit your chuck. So that'll give me the 4-jaw 10-inch chuck. I'm thinking, I don't know what size chucks I should be looking at, 8 or 10. probably whatever I can find. I'll be scouring different auction sites and trying to find me some stuff that way. I'm currently bidding on some tool holders. That auction ends tomorrow, so it's local, so it'll be easy to pick up if I actually win anything. I'm bidding on boxes of assorted inserts and boxes of assorted insert holders. So I'm assuming that the inserts in the boxes are going to fit the holders in the boxes. So we'll see. If not, we can buy inserts. Okay, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you Thursday. The new lathe.